Hey, what up everyone? I'm Cynical, and this is Final Fantasy VII Remake. And today, this is the last video. We're in the battle simulator. I beat the game. I saw the credits. I got the trophy. I beat the game. Chapter 18, here, I'm going to explain it to you right now why you couldn't see Chapter 18. It's blocked. It won't let me capture it. It's due to spoilers or copyright or something. You have to have a capture card, you have to have a screen captured, so that's why other people can show it and I can't. The way I do my channel is I use PS4's capture function, and it just doesn't let me do it. It says it's a block scene. You saw the very end, the last part I could capture was Cloud busting through that window on the motorcycle with his sword, and that's when it cuts it off. And so what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to read you what happened from like a walkthrough and a story synopsis thingy. So to give you an idea of what happened after he busted through that window, then I'm going to give you my thoughts on the game after that. So hopefully this is definitely the last video. I'm going to try to wrap it up a little bit better since I couldn't capture Chapter 18. I'm going to try to tell you what happened and then give my impressions of the game after that. So let's get started. Definitely the last video. I don't know what I'm going to do after this. The only games I have is all the Dark Souls games, Bloodborne, and Gems of War. So if you want to see me play any of those, let me know. Or this game in hard mode, which I doubt, but let me know. And then, I might try a horror game. I might try Puzzle Quest. I might do Gems of War, new account playthrough. I don't know, but that's the reason I need to start. That's the reason I need to do a new Gems of War account playthrough on my phone or computer so I can figure out how to make videos. I know it's probably not as hard as I think, but, I do it one way for years and years and years and years. And now I gotta teach myself the other way. So, get on my phone, start a new account of Gems of War, record it on my phone, and then we can do other games. Mobile games, PC games, stuff like that once I learn how to do it. So, it's more than just one reason of doing a new account playthrough. But anyway, let's get to this, what you came here for, if, the 30, 40, 50 of you that are coming to this. So, he busts through the window. We land on the highway. You start with the highway motorcycle chase. So, they're in a truck. Tifa, Barrett, Red, and Aerith, I think. Cloud's on the motorcycle with the sword. Another one of those machines comes, like a Shinra weapon, and you have to battle it, among other things. But, there's dudes on motorcycles, there's little drones, and then there's a boss, if you will, and he's shooting missiles at you, big beams of energy, proximity mines, all that. You have to dodge it all, and then I'm like throwing my sword at him or staggering him by hitting his wheels and whatnot. In the background here, we're just in the battle simulator. Like I said, I had to reopen it and everything. You get chapter select once you beat the game, so you can go back. You can either do hard mode, or you can go back to whatever chapter you want and find stuff that you didn't find the first time. Like the battle simulator, I didn't do all the battles, so that's what I'm doing there. But anyway, after you beat that weapon boss, they all get off their bikes, they jump through the air to the other side of this highway, overpass type deal, and I think Sephiroth shows up, and he opens a portal, if I remember correctly, to the edge of creation, and he tells Cloud and them to come after him, because, he's going to try to end the world or whatever. I might not be saying this correctly, but he does open a portal. It's to the edge of creation. They all walk through it. Stuff goes crazy after that. Buildings are falling down. They're running on these buildings that are collapsing, like the walkway collapsed. The buildings are collapsing. The whole world is like collapsing in and on itself. And he's running through. Let's see. When the chase is over, it's a chase, so the end of the road. When the chaser feel free to rest spot, vending machine, cutscene will play. After the cutscene, move forward and you'll eventually meet up with Tifa and Barrett. The three of you will be fighting 3 new Whispers. The Whisper Rubrum, the Whisper Croccio, and the Whisper Verendi. You should read the in-game description about them. As you fight, the Whisperer Harbinger in the background will be throwing in his own attacks. When he does, the other 3 enemies will disappear, and you'll need to run forward to find them again. When you do, their HP will have been replenished. Feel free to use this time between battles to heal Cloud. So yeah, there's this huge Harbinger enemy, and then there's 3 Whispers that are... You fight the 3 Whispers, then there's like this huge background enemy that does attacks, but you can't really attack him. You can only shoot him with Barret. And you pretty much have to kill the 3 Whisper enemies one at a time, and then when you kill one, it gives you a chance to attack the big enemy. And then, like, they all 3 come back again. You kill another one, it gives you a chance to hit the big enemy. They all 3 come back again. Another one, it gives you a chance to hit the big enemy. You know what I mean? It's one of those type of battles. It wasn't that hard. I just would concentrate on one Whisper. They would go down. It would give me a chance. Usually a limit breaker, a summon, like a really big attack on the big guy, and then it would just repeat. I didn't die at all. It was not that bad. I did, like, Catastrophe Limit Breaker. I did Cloud's Limit Breaker. I did, I think, Shiva, maybe, summon. So it wasn't too bad. It says, at the 3rd time you meet the monsters, it will only be the Whisper Rubrum. Technically, the Whisper Harbinger in the background. This time you'll be able to defeat it. Defeating it won't make it go away, though. Instead, it will stagger both the Rubrum and the Harbinger, since they're tied together. Any attacks you do to the Rubrum will affect the Harbinger, so lay into it and do as much damage as possible. With any luck, you should be able to do around 1/5 of damage of the Harbinger's HP bar. Another cutscene will follow, and the Rubrum will officially be defeated, disappearing. With that, you'll find Cloud and Barret in your party. Tifa will leave, but you'll have Red now. Fight the Crocio and the Veriti. As you fight, you'll be able to stagger them to do more damage to the Harbinger. When the stagger effect is over, the HP bar of the minion will sometimes replenish halfway instead of just defeating them. Other times, it will just be defeated and disappear. When both Crocio and Veriti are gone, you'll lose Barret, but be given Tifa and Aerith back instead. The 3 Whispers will be back now. After fighting them for a moment, they'll combine into one enemy called Bahamut. He's not terrible to fight, but when you defeat him, he won't stagger. He'll just split back into 3 enemies. Be really careful here. It's tough. If you die, you'll be sent all the way back to the beginning. Once Bahamut has split back into 3 Whispers, you'll be able to take them down one by one. Each time you do, you'll be able to deal a lot of damage to the enemy. Then the 3rd and final Whisper is defeated. The boss's HP bar will be at 1. Use Aerith to hit it. Since she can do long range, the Harbinger will be defeated, and another cutscene will play. That's one thing I realized in that fight. I was getting a bunch of limit breakers and summons and all that. Like the Bahamut only came in and did like 1 attack, and then he got hit with the limit breaker and a summon, and he just died. And then Aerith, for some reason, does tons of damage to these enemies. So I figured that out like halfway through the battle, and she was just like critical hitting them every time she hit. So I think that's the secret to that battle. That whole battle there, the Harbinger, the Whispers, like, it's basically the big bad boss of the Whispers, if you will. But it's in, like, a huge, I don't know how to describe it, like a huge elemental, giant type form. That's, like, the whole background. But eventually, I think Barret, like, uses his limit breaker and kills it when it has 1 HP. It's now Cloud vs. Sephiroth. Yeah, Sephiroth shows up after that, grabs Cloud. They go to the edge of creation together. He's got 35,836 HP, and he's about what you'd expect. Luckily, you can stagger him. This will be the key. Every time you stagger him, you should be able to deal around 1/7 of damage to his HP bar. After a bit, Aerith will show up. Next will be Tifa. Once you've staggered him twice, you should be able to start attacking normally, with the 3 of you fighting. It gets kind of chaotic, especially with your summon running around. This part isn't really that hard, so just fight and use your limit breaks, staggering Sephiroth until you've beat him. With that, enjoy the ending cutscene. At the end, you'll receive Destiny's Crossroad Trophy for completing Chapter 18. You've beaten the game, and you unlock hard difficulty in Chapter Select. Congratulations. Yeah, so for the Sephiroth fight, it was Cloud first. He does a lot of, like counters or whatever. You can't really hit him too good, but you build your bar up, you do an attack ability. It's fine, you get through it. Then Aerith shows up to save you in a cutscene or whatever. And then you got her, and Sephiroth is really temperamental. Like, if you hit him, he goes after that person. Whoever's hitting him, so whoever you're controlling, he pretty much goes after. So if you spread your characters out a little bit, and then, like, use Barret, from way on the other side with Barret shooting him, and you're controlling Barret, Sephiroth like charges after Barret hard. So then you can switch to the other characters, maybe use Aerith, shoot with her, use one of her spells or something, maybe she has her ability up, use a big bad spell, and then he's charging her like super hard, like he's really aggro. So whoever you're using, he's gonna aggro you hard. So if you spread out like Aerith to one side of the map, Barret to one side of the map, and then switch to Cloud when, you know, he's way on the other side, you can really like ping pong ball him back and forth, and he's not that hard. Really, we're hitting limit breakers, summons, like I said, doing tons of damage. He does do a lot of blocks and reversals, but it's not that bad when you're using spells and abilities and whatnot. You just build your meter up, and if you just stand in front of him with one character jamming the button, you could probably lose. If you don't use any abilities or spells or switch between your characters at all, but I'm sure you've learned that. I learned it in like the first video. So, anyway, Sephiroth takes Cloud to the edge of creation. It's just him, and then he could kill Cloud, but he doesn't. And, you know, he disappears, and it sends everybody back to way out of the town. Like, they're back in the real world, but they're way out in the desert. And they're all back together, and they're all good. It also shows a cutscene with Zack, if y'all know who Zack is, carrying Cloud away from battle after he killed a bunch of soldiers. It looks like he has the Buster Sword, Zack does, and that he saved Cloud, and I don't know what's going on with Zack and whatnot. I know it's kind of like something that Cloud remembers as a bad time in his life or something, like something he did wrong back then. But anyway, that's the whole game. Pretty much you go on the highway, you fight that highway boss, then you fight the big Whisper boss, and then you fight Sephiroth. And none of them were hard. I didn't die at all. There was harder fights back in the Shinra building, really, and in the battle simulator. But it was cool. I used a bunch of limit breakers. I used a bunch of summons. It was fun. It was a huge boss. Then Sephiroth is always awesome. And the cutscenes were awesome. And I can't wait for the next game. So that's that. Let's read the story synopsis, I guess, real quick. In a confrontation at the top of Shinra headquarters, Sephiroth murders the president of Shinra. Shinra's son, Rufus, assumes control of the company and fights Cloud. That's another thing. Rufus is now the leader of Shinra. The sun guy, he sits at the president's desk. Sung's there. Hard Digger, or whatever his name is there. And, you know, it shows him sitting behind the desk. Like, it shows all these... It shows what everybody's doing at the end of the game, basically. It'll show... Oh, Hojo's there laughing crazily, like maniacally, because one of his creations escaped, and Rufus is sitting behind his dad's desk after he died. He doesn't look too bothered about it. He's the new president. Cloud and everybody's out in the desert wondering what they're going to do next. It, like, shows what everybody's doing. Marlene is watering a flower, and, you know, stuff like that. Even showed Biggs, I think, laying in bed recovering. Like, I think the only person that died in the game was Jesse, maybe? Jesse? Can't remember. Let's see. Cloud and his allies flee the scene via the Midgar Expressway, but find Sephiroth waiting for them at the end. After defeating Whisper Harbinger... This shouldn't be Harbinger. It's Harbinger. An entity formed by an amalgam of whispers. Cloud's group battles Sephiroth. Sephiroth separates Cloud from the group, asking him to join him and defy fate. Cloud refuses and fights Sephiroth, but is defeated, although Sephiroth spares him by telling him a cryptic message before departing. Meanwhile, as Cloud's group leaves Midgar to stop Sephiroth... Yeah, they're going after Sephiroth. That's what they're doing. Like, they end up out in the desert outside of Midgar, and that's their... Cloud says, I gotta go after that guy. I gotta kill him. He's trying to end the world. And then everybody says, yeah, we're going with you. Soldier Zack Fair is seen defeating an army of Shinra forces and departing with a comatose Cloud. That's like, you know, in the past. It's a flashback. So, that's all the story synopsis I could find, and that's the walkthrough. So that's the best I can give you, really. Like I said, you burst through that window, you go on the highway, you fight a boss on the highway. I actually lost because I was all confused about why it wouldn't capture and whatnot. That's my excuse. So I did lose to that thing. And then the Whisper Harbinger wasn't hard. Beat that pretty easily. And then Sephiroth wasn't hard. I figured out pretty quickly. Like the Harbinger boss, you figure out that Aerith does tons of damage to it, and you get a bunch of limit breakers and summons pretty easily. And then Sephiroth, you figure out he's a ping pong ball that is super aggro. and you just spread out your ranged characters, and it'll go back and forth in between them, and you can do abilities and spells while he's running back and forth like an idiot. But he's awesome, he's cool. It was cool. So my thoughts on this game, I really liked it. You know, I'd probably give it a, I don't know, like an 8 out of 10, something like that. Maybe 8.5. 8 doesn't sound like enough, but 9 sounds like too much to me, so maybe like an 8.5 out of 10. I'd recommend everybody buys it, everybody plays it. It's a good game, it's a great game, especially if you played the original. Let's see. The best things about it, it just looks awesome, and bunch of weapons, bunch of spells, bunch of materia. It was just the right amount of hard, I think, for without putting it on hard. Like, I did die a few times, like early in the game and late in the game. It did feel a little bit too easy at times, but then you jump in the battle simulator, you get your butt kicked in there. A boss will have your number every once in a while. Like, it's not a total cakewalk. The length was pretty much perfect. It was like 40 hours or so, I'd say. There's a bunch of different enemies. You get 3 or 4 different summons, 2 or 3 different limit breakers for each character, 5 or 6 different weapons for each character. Aerith doesn't die. All that stuff. So, all the characters look awesome. Like, Tifa just looks great. They all look good. Fat Chocobo's funny. You can see him in the background. Boom! Sat on that guy. Pretty funny. It just, if you played the original and you loved it, you're gonna love this one too. And the only complaint I had throughout the game was, first of all, number one, it's a little bit linear. You can go off, like, during the wall market part, you can go different ways. You can always go, like, wherever you want. There's not that many places to go. You can't go out into the world and visit, like, 5 different cities and go into the woods and go into dungeons and go into, you know, other, like, there'd be nice if there was, like, dungeons you could go into here or there that are, like, randomly generated or something, and dangerous. Like, you go into these woods and it's randomly generated and you follow a path and it's like a maze and then you get lost, and if you go too far you can't get out or something, or you go underground in a cave, like, you know, like Diablo, where it's a randomly generated dungeon. It'd be cool if they had like 2 or 3 of those in different spots throughout the game that you could go into, and it would be different every time with different enemies, and maybe like a mini boss at the end that's different every time. If they could have done that, I would have gave it a 10 out of 10. It's just a little bit linear the way it is. You don't, like, you're not on rails, but it tells you what to do, and sometimes it'll stop, it'll take a break, and it'll say, hey, you can do all these different side quests, you can go explore this big town, and it does that every once in a while, but it's like you're linear for a few chapters, and then it'll stop and say, hey, go do a bunch of side quests, explore this town. When you're ready, we'll jump back on the track, and we'll do our linear thing again. Then we'll do that for a few chapters, and then once again, boom, you're here. You can do a bunch of different things if you want, side quests. When you're ready, come jump back on the train, get on the tracks, let's go back to Linear Town. So it tries to, like, it feels like somebody told them it was linear, and then they put that stuff in to make it less linear. And you can always go back to, like, the underpass area, or, like, I don't know. There's other places where you can go and fight and, like, run around and look for stuff, but it's not, once you reveal the whole map, it's not like anything special. You're not going to go super deep into something. It's just, it is what it is, and then that's all it is. I don't know. It's a little bit linear, so that's my first complaint. My second complaint is the extras. The characters, like, in Wall Market, I think it was, yeah, Wall Market, or maybe after they destroyed Sector 7, when you're walking from, like, Sector 5 to Sector 7 or whatever. The character models, like, of the extra characters, the NPCs, they repeat too much. Like, you'll see a lady with an afro, and a guy with a suit, and a dude with a beard, and a guy with a cowboy hat. And then you'll walk 20 yards, and you'll see a lady with an afro, a dude with a beard, a guy with a cowboy hat. You'll see the exact same 3 or 4 characters. Then you'll walk 20 yards, and you'll see a girl with an afro, a guy with a beard, a dude with a cowboy hat, and they're exactly the same characters. So you can run back, look at the lady with an afro, run 20 yards, look at the same lady with an afro doing something different. Run 20 yards, find another lady, exactly the same character model, NPC with an afro, doing something. So that's my other complaint. Other than that, the difficulty could have been a little bit harder, I would say, just a little bit. I did have it on whatever. I don't understand the difficulty. There's like easy, normal, and classic. They all seem to pretty much the same to me, except for in the battle simulator. Normal was definitely harder, but during the main game, I don't think they're that much different. But hard mode, I'm sure, is going to be super hard. You can't restore your MP at benches or anywhere. I think you have to use ether, and that's the only way you can restore MP, or other ways, you know, with materia maybe. So that's going to be really hard. So if I want it to be hard, I can always play that. But be cool if like your first playthrough was just a little bit harder. Like maybe if I would have lost 1 or 2 more times to a boss, maybe got into some trouble in a dungeon somewhere. I had like 50 million potions, 50 million Phoenix Downs. I was like selling them back to the item shop. I had so many. Like I probably ended with 50 mega potions and 10 elixirs and 50 ethers. Like, they give you so much of that stuff. They could cut that down by a little bit and then make it a little bit harder here and there, like a harder boss, maybe a random encounter where something really hard happens. I don't know. So those are like my only 3 complaints, and they're very picky and very small and very minor. So once again, it's a little bit linear. It's a little bit too easy, but not that bad. You know, I'm a guy that plays Dark Souls, so take that with a grain of salt. And what was the other thing? The character models, the NPCs, the extras, they repeat too often. I understand if you need to put 100 people in a town, repeating them every once in a while, like maybe have 25 different people, but they had like 15 or 10. It wasn't that many. It would be cool if you do like 25 different character models, and then make sure they're somehow like positive and negative. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but they can't get anywhere near each other. They have to be like 50 yards apart instead of 20. And maybe you could definitely like give them different clothes, like shade them a different color. Even if they had just done that, I would have been happy. But they're exactly the same. Lady with an afro, with glasses, with a pink dress, with blue shoes. Like, they're exactly the same. It's picky, but they could have done a color swap, and I would have been happy. Have the exact same lady wearing a black dress with yellow shoes, and I would have been fine with it. Or without glasses, or without an afro, or a different skin color, or shorter, taller, whatever. But nope, they're exactly the same. There's like quadruplets in every town, and they're 20 yards apart, and they're next to the same guy. So that was the worst. Probably my worst complaint was probably that. And I know that's really picky, but it is what it is. And then the linear thing was probably my second worst complaint. And then the difficulty was like a very minor nitpick, because I did lose to the first boss, and I did lose to like that highway segment, and I died a couple times in the battle simulator. But if I can count it on one hand probably, so it'd be cool if it was like more like 2 hands. But anyway, that's my thoughts on the game. I really liked it. I will get part 2 if I can. I don't know. I've been reading about part 2, and some people are saying it's going to be on PS5. Some people are saying in PS4. Some people saying both. So I have no clue if I'm going to be able to get it or not. But I hope so. Some people are saying it's not even going to follow the original game. It's going to be a whole new game. I don't know. I don't know what I would want to happen, really. If they can do, again, what they did here, except for a sandbox environment that's not linear at all. I don't know how they're going to do that, though, with Part 2. Because if you make it to where you can go everywhere in Part 2, then you can beat the game. So how are they going to do that? How are they going to make a Part 2 and then a Part 3? Unless they make Part 2 if there's only 2 parts, that would be awesome. Like, make the second game just the rest of the game. You can go everywhere, do everything, beat the game. That would be sick. But I'm sure they're going to want to drag it out, get more money, make 3 parts at least. Probably 4, because I think the original game had 4 discs. But how are they going to do that? I don't know. maybe look back at how they did that in the original game. I don't know. But anyway, I hope I get to play it. Not sure if I will. 8 out of 5, 8.5 out of 10 for me. You heard my minor gripes. I wish I could have showed it to you, but it wasn't to be. Maybe one day I'll be able to. Maybe once I figure out this stuff with the computer and the phone and different ways to capture, maybe I'll get an Elgato or a capture card or whatever, and maybe then I'll have a save. I can load it up. We can show it, and I can add it onto this playlist one day. But I think for now I'm gonna link somebody else's playlist. I still haven't figured it out, but just check the description, or I'll leave a comment or something on this video or this playlist or something, or maybe I'll just do it as a community post. I don't know. Somehow, some way, I'll make it so you guys can see the ending if you want to see it. But I'd recommend, if you just want to get a recommendation, I'd recommend theRadBrad. He's pretty unabrasive, really big YouTuber with good editing and quality. And yeah, I'd recommend him. Just go to his page, look for Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's not been too long since he played it, and just go towards the end, look for Chapter 18, and I think it'll be like 3 or 4 videos from him. He does like 30-minute videos. It wasn't that long. The Chapter 18 wasn't that long. I could have beat it in that video probably. Maybe one more video. I don't know. But yeah, theRadBrad, TheRadBrad, and just search it on his channel, or just search it, whatever. Chapter 18 is all you need to know. You just look at that, and you can see it for yourself. But yeah, next game we're gonna play, I don't know. Either new account playthrough of Gems of War will take the place of this, which that means 2 times a week, and maybe a live stream on Wednesday or on Sunday. Either that, or I'm thinking maybe Puzzle Quest. I don't know if I can even play Puzzle Quest. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. But the reason I want to do a new account playthrough of Gems of War is just to gain the skill of capturing on something different besides the PS4 and doing it the way everyone else does it. Right now, I'm a lone wolf doing it a weird way. Capturing with my PS4. People don't do that. And I need to learn how to do it the right way. And that would help me do it the right way. Plus, I know it'll get at least 200 views, 300 views each time I do it. At least 150. While me playing a new game, like, say, Resident Evil 7 or something else, Outlast, I don't know. It might only get 30, 40, 50 views. But I know Gems of War gets views. If I did a new account playthrough, it would get views. Probably not as much as my main account, but it would definitely get the views, and I know that. Plus, I would learn something new that I need to learn as soon as possible, so it's kind of like the best of both worlds. Will I get burnt out on Gems of War? It's very, very high risk, but high risk, high reward, you know? Gotta go for it, especially these days. Gotta go for it. But yeah, that's all I got to say, really. I mean, put in the comments if you want me to play something else. If you'd like to see this on hard mode, I can't record Chapter 18, so you know that going into it. If you want to see me beat all the battle simulators, do you want to see Bloodborne Chalice dungeons? Do you want to see New Game Plus playthroughs of any of the Dark Souls or Bloodborne games? Do you want to see a speed run of Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin? What do you guys want to see? I got all those games right now. I can start up Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin speedrun right now. Or a new playthrough of it. Or a new playthrough of Dark Souls 3. Or a Bloodborne Chalice dungeon, Queen Yarnum. What do you guys want to see? Let me know. But in my mind, I think the best of both worlds would be a new account playthrough of Gems of War on my phone. Or my phone would be the best, and then my computer second best. Because my phone, I could take it anywhere. I'm waiting somewhere for someone. I could play it then, or take it in the bathroom, or whatever. Because otherwise I'll probably just be playing on my PS4. But hey, I've almost used all of this footage here. It's at 31 minutes, 27 seconds, so I could just keep talking, I guess. Most of you probably already tuned out. But yeah, like, share, subscribe. If you're watching and hearing this right now, you're awesome. Comment below, it really helps. It's like hitting like twice without unliking, because, you know, if you hit like twice, it just takes your like away. But if you hit like and then you comment, that's just like hitting like twice. Tell your guild if you play Gems of War about the channel. That helps a lot. Consider joining. That helps a lot. That's like, you know, It's $1.99, which doesn't sound like a lot, but with the ads, even if I get like 1,000 views, you'd still be giving me more money probably with the membership. So with the $1.99 membership, so it's dollars instead of pennies is what I always call it. And I hope you enjoyed this playthrough. I'm sorry I couldn't do Chapter 18. Like, it was impossible. I was doing it, and then it made me stop. So it wasn't up to me. It was up to the game. So I apologize for that. It's kind of embarrassing that we played through this whole game and didn't even know that, and then we get to the end and we can't finish the playthrough. That's pretty annoying. But I know I beat it, and you can tell here I beat it because there's a chapter select. And I'm back doing that with my current level and everything. And if you really want proof, I can probably send you some sort of screenshot if you don't believe me. But yeah, I beat the game. It wasn't hard at all. And that's the end. So like, share, subscribe, consider joining. Helps a lot. Tell your goat if you play Gems of War. Let me know what game you want me to play next. Or any thoughts you have about this game or anything that I've said in this video. And yeah, thank you for watching this. And you know, I'll see y'all next time. Have a great day. Every day, videos, every day. Gems of War, every day. Other stuff like this, 2 times a week. Peace.